On Garde is a third-person, swashbuckling, swish-swashing, sword-fighting simulator. Developed by Fireplace Games, you play as Adalia de Valador, who can single-handedly take on garrisons of men with little effort. Seriously, most of these guys don't stand a chance one-on-one. Combat consists of swordplay and environmental attacks, a basic swing and a parry, which, timed well, will stun enemies for a crit. But maybe sword fighting isn't your thing. Perfect, because the next move is the kick. Sparta! Kick enemies, kick crates, kick explosive barrels. What can't you do with a kick? Well, a lot, but that's beside the point. Environmental attacks leave nearby enemies surprised by your pure gaming skill, while also breaking their guard, which leaves them completely defenseless. There are plenty of dangerous objects you can use against these idiots, including literal cannons. You may not be canonically killing them, but you sure are dishing out life-changing concussions on the regular. So what can they do to fight back? Well, most enemies have a basic attack you can parry, or a heavier attack you have to dodge. There are 6 enemy varieties along with 3 different bosses. First up is the Lackey. Even in large groups, these guys are no danger. The most memorable thing about them is how they run. They're also the only enemy with a single health bar. Soldiers are probably more abundant than lackeys throughout the game. They have a basic 2-hit combo and aren't a challenge on their own, but when in a group, they reinforce each other with the occasional heavy attack. Grenadiers mix it up by keeping their distance and throwing, you guessed it, grenades. You have to surprise them by using the environment to get a chance to hit them. The captain needs to have her guard broken to damage her. After that, she enters a state of pure gamer rage, where she is immune to most environmental attacks and much faster. Elite soldiers are, well, an elite version of the soldier. They introduce a new mechanic where you have to react correctly to their attacks or they will instantly regen their health. Duelists do the unthinkable. They have a combo with more than 2 attacks. In all seriousness, they are the embodiment of all the other enemies. They are resistant to environmental attacks, regen when you fuck up, and are French.
Proving you wrong will be the highlight of my evening.
And the last thing I haven't mentioned yet are the special attacks. This yellow bar is your panache meter, which fills up as you kick ass. All 3 special attacks give you invulnerability while performing them, and surprise all nearby enemies. The first one is the secret attack, which does a ton of damage to a single enemy. Next, the tornado strike, knocking down every enemy within reach. Very useful when surrounded, since enemies will stay stunned on the ground for a while, allowing you to single someone out. And last but not least, well, least in my opinion, the surprise kick. Simply put, you kick whoever you're aiming at. I don't think it's bad per se, but since any surprise enemy can be kicked, it's pretty situational. Well, now you know how the game plays, but listen up, and I'll tell you the games. The story consists of 4 very loosely connected episodes. Each level consists of multiple combat arenas, separated by short puzzle or parkour sections, ending with a boss fight. Starting with episode 1, we get rudely awakened early in the morning by our nerd loser brother, Alejandro. Some punk had the gall to steal our sword. Time to get it back. There's the bastard standing there, clearly unaware of my murderous intent. Hold on. Yeah, El Vigilante is just our nerd loser brother, Alejandro. Dissociative disorders are mental disorders that involve experiencing a disconnection and lack of continuity between thoughts, memories, surroundings, actions, and identity. People with dissociative disorders escape reality in many ways that are involuntary and unhealthy and cause problems with functioning in everyday life. Seems applicable here. Anyway, he is here to teach us how to play the game. A tutorial, if you will. That's pretty much the entire story of the first level. You dominate every guard in the city before fighting El Vigilante himself, who is mostly a pushover.
Oh, there you are. I thought you were coming out from the other side and I put some decoration for you and everything, but really, it's fine.
That's underselling him a bit. He's definitely the strongest enemy in the first level, mostly because it's just lackeys and soldiers at this point.
You're right. I'm a disaster, aren't I?
You are, manito. What's Adalia de Volador doing in prison? Well, funny you should ask, because I'd like to know too. There I was, just minding my own business, when the Count Duke's lackeys arrested me for no good reason.
Well, here we are in the slammer. Wait, you're saying some lackeys arrested you? These clowns who go down in 4 hits and have to constantly hold their helmets down? Here is the big bad himself, Count Duke. Instead of enacting his evil plans, he is here, telling you he's about to go do so. Good plan. And the cell he threw us in has a conveniently hidden exit that we have used to escape in the past.
Oh no! She found the conveniently hidden exit! Again!
I'm not sure what I expected.
Even better plan. After being introduced to the Grenadier, we start getting some hints as to what's going on around here. Secret plans, explosions, my kind of party if you ask me. After defeating the captain and escaping prison... Wait. Seriously? It was that easy? Time to go stop the Count Duke, who is currently burning the city to the ground? Wait, no, he's just burning some caricatures of himself. And for that crime, I sentence him to an ass whooping. In the 3rd level, the Count Duke is up to no good again. At some point, you'd think we would just kill him, but hey, it's not that kind of game. As we break into his palace, we find guards already beaten, and not by my hand. Seems we have a competitor scurrying around. And by scurrying around, I mean standing here waiting to talk. Meet Zaida, who is also here to steal the keys to the city. Oh, did I not mention that's why we're here? Well, it is. Of course, she's not actually gonna help us fight, but what did you expect? Now we just have to go pull a lever hidden somewhere to open this thing. Wait a second, you could absolutely just reach through these massive holes and grab both keys. Well, I prefer fighting every guard in a 2-mile radius anyway, so on we go. After finally finding the lever, Zaida offers a race to the last lever, which we win without hesitation. Maybe a little hesitation could do wonders, because that bitch double-crossed us and calls the guards before teleporting away. At least we get to meet the last enemy type, the duelist, who goes down in about 6 seconds. Anyways, Zaida explains she wants to ransom the keys back to the Count Duke to buy food for the starving civilians. What civilians? The only life I've seen in this city is all the guards and the few main characters I've mentioned. Well, it's time to show her our skills. For the most part, she has the duelist moveset with a few unique moves. She can also teleport at will and make clones of herself. Possibly a wizard, but she gets owned like all the rest.
You were saying?
For the final and longest level, we go to an island that has an abandoned fortress the Count Duke is using to stash his gold. His gold? Sorry, I meant soon-to-be our gold. So it turns out our dipshit, useless, waste of oxygen brother went ahead and got himself captured after we told him not to come here. Wonderful. He doesn't get to leave the cage and assumedly starves to death in there. A happy ending. Oh wait, no, there he is, and he wants to fight for some reason. Well, after a swift and easy fight, he stands down and we meet none other than Zaida, who is also here for the gold and also wants to fight us. We prove our gamer superiority and eventually find the Count Duke himself, who captured Zaida and recaptured Alejandro. He threatens their lives, which we respond to by immediately discounting his threats and challenging him to a duel. We soon find them in cages, and whoop-de-doo, turns out they were bait for us. The Count Duke didn't anticipate facing a dueling demigod, so he only brought a small army to face us. Will it be enough? Yes, many times. This is by far the hardest fight in the game. The Count Duke is a formidable foe on his own, and with a ton of support, it makes for a challenging fight. So challenging, in fact, that the devs nerfed this fight in the first patch. But not before I could beat him. After his defeat, the Count Duke runs around the corner and threatens to blow himself up. So, we blow him up and beat the game. But that isn't the end of the content. Say hello to Arena Mode, where you play campaigns made up of, you guessed it, arenas. Each arena adds a negative effect and gives you a choice from 3 positive effects. Each campaign ends with a boss fight, which is just the bosses from story mode with grunts to back them up. The hardest campaign ends with a fight between you and all 3 bosses at once. A challenge for only the sweatiest of gamers. On Garde is an example of a simple, good concept executed well with little to no bugs. Imagine that nowadays in gaming. There may be only 4 different levels, but they all introduce new things and get longer as you go on. That, along with the arena mode, provide plenty of content for the price. Fireplace Games really came out swinging with this as their first game. They've also kept up with it so far, pushing out bug fixes and balancing since launch. It's fun, runs well, plays well, and dare I say, it tastes well. All jokes aside, if you are a fan of sword fighting games or even well-made indie games, I encourage you to give On Guard a shot. 9 out of 10.